Hi everyone, this is the fifth part of the course Statistics for Everyone towards Data Science with R. In this part, we are going to study data frames. The data frame is the most flexible type of R object to use in data analysis, statistics, and machine learning. It is a list with the restriction that each element of the list, the variables, must be of the same length as every other element of the list. Thus, the mode of a data frame is a list and its class is data frame. Data frames are fundamental to the use of the R modeling and graphical functions. A data frame is a generalization of a matrix in which different columns may have different modes. However, all elements of any column must have the same mode. namely all numeric, namely all should be numeric or all factor or all characters. A factor of a data frame is an important part of our objects. Factors provide a compact way to store character strings. They are crucial in the representation of categorical effects in model and graphics formula. A factor is stored internally as a numeric vector with values 1, 2, 3, k, where k is the number of levels. Let us create a factor. Data C east, west, east, north, north. And data we have this one, print. Is factor this data? False. It is not a factor. Let's make it a factor. We can do this data to be a factor with factor function. Factor data equal to factor data. Factor data. So we got levels east, north, west, which means that is a factor. Is factor data true? Now let us give an order to this factor. F data ordered is equal to factor data. We give the ordered is equal to true. FDO, we see that the levels now in the order form east less than north, north is north less than west. Of course, this is a alphabetical order by default, but we can change it as we wish. We can construct the data frame from scratch, though using the data frame function. Once a data frame is created, we can add observation to data frame. We make a little data frame with the names, salaries, gender, and starting dates of a few imaginary coworkers. First, we create three vectors that contain the necessary information like this. Employee names, John, Peter, Jolie, Sam. Salaries, start date as date 2010-11-1, gender CF, MF, DF is equal to data frame, employee, just we supply what we created as the four vectors, employee, salary, start date, and gender, and we got the data frame. The str function is very fruitful to giving all attributes of the data, especially the structure of a data frame. Str structure of data frame. First information is data frame. For observation of four variables. Employee is a character with the names. Salary is numeric with numbers. Start date is date. And gender is character. Let's do one more example. Name: John, Mark, Kevin, David. Height, weight, gender. Data frame: name, height, weight, gender. Data frame: we have 7 rows and 4 columns. If we steer the data frame, we have data frame, 7 observation of 4 variables. Name character, height numeric, weight numeric, and gender character. Notice that the function head bracket data frame, comma n equal to k, and tail data frame, comma n equal to k, can be used to return k top and k bottom rows of data frame. The default without the second argument k returns only 6 rows. Head data frame 6 rows, or head data frame k is equal to 2, or maybe we don't need to write the k. Yes, okay, we don't need to write the argument k. We can also give the tail data frame tail 3. So we got 3. Now let us see what the class of name. Name, character, gender, character. We see that the class of both name and gender variables are characters. Are characters. Objects of class factor and character basically differ in the way their values are stored internally. Each element of a vector of a class character is stored as a character variable, whereas an integer variable indicating the level of a factor is saved for factor objects. Let us explicitly change the gender variable to a factor. Gender as factor gender. Now let us see what is the data frame. Data frame and steer. We will see the gender change to factor, which was character before. To access the rows of data frame, we use the first indexing, and to access the columns, we use the second indexing. And if we want both columns and rows and columns, we can also use both columns in the third one. Rows from 2 to 4, columns from 1 to 3, and rows from 1 to 2, and column from 3 to 4. Similarly, for non-consecutive rows and columns, we can use C function as follows: rows 1 and 7 with columns 2 and 4. data frame C17, C24. We have 1/7 column and height, gender, which are the second and fourth column. Filtering the people with heights of more than 147. So we have data frame, and to get the height, we use this dollar sign and is greater than 147. All people having height of more than 147. We have Mary, Kevin, and Bob. Notice that the dollar sign is used to return the specific column like the height, even though one can use data frame, bracket, comma, 2 instead of data frame dollar sign height. Namely, we can use this data frame, and we see that the results are the same. Filtering with two statements, data frame dollar sign height greater than 147 and data frame weight less than 60. We got just one record, which is the second row. We use mean and var to get the mean and variance of any columns, of course numerical columns. 145.6, 95.62 for weight. For categorical data, it makes no sense to compute means and variances. Instead, one needs the table indicating the frequencies with which the categories occur. For factor variable gender, we use, for example, table data frame $ gender. We got female 3 and male 4. If relative frequencies are desired, there exists a function prop table. So we use prop probability table data frame $ gender. We got the percentage of the female and male. We can use table for two variables as cross tabulation function. Table data frame gender data frame name. We got names and we got gender as female and male, and relative, not relative, the frequencies of the male and female for each person. Notice that we will use tabulation of more than two variables in later chapters. To get only the records of male, we use the subset function, which takes data frame and the conditions as arguments. We have here subset data frame, subsetting gender should be just male. We use equal sign. So we have gender all males, first, second, fifth, and seventh row. Finally, one of the most frequently used modes of data is the list. Lists are the most comprehensive way of storing our objects because of accommodating objects of different modes and lengths. Also, many functions in R use lists to hold their results. Firstly, we start with a simple type of a list. List data list, we use the list, bracket, first element my code, second, which is a vector itself, third logical, then decimal number, then other decimal number, and the last one is a vector of character type. This data We see that we got this first my code, second three numerical numbers, third true, fourth 7.8, fifth 9.43, and sixth its character MMFF. As we see, the first element is a character of length 1. The second is a numerical vector of length 3. The third is a logical of length 1. The fourth and fifth are numeric numbers of length 1. And finally, the last is a character vector of length 4. To access our element, one can use one bracket or double bracket equivalently. The result is the same. List the first element, my code. Double bracket, my code. The second one, three numeric numbers, and double quote. The sixth one is character numbers. To access the elements of a vector inside the list, we use consecutive brackets as follows with the first double bracket. So the second element, what the second element in the list, but the third one inside the list. Second, which is the numeric number of three numbers, and we got the third element. The sixth one, the sixth element in the list, but inside the sixth element, we want to get the fourth element, which is the factor F. Naming list elements. Creating a list containing a vector, a matrix, and a list. We have here list that, list, a vector of January, February, March, matrix, number of rows 2, again a list, green, comma, 12.3. Give name to the elements in the list. Names list that, C, first quarter, a matrix, a inner list. List that 1, we got first quarter, the name of the first element, and then what is the inside of the vector, January, February, and March. The second vector is a matrix, and we have the matrix also. The third element, inner list, which is the first one is green and second one 12.3. We want to create a list. As last example of a list, we create one which has a list, a matrix, and data frame, among other things. First, we create the data frame, name, height, weight, gender, then data frame. And from this, we want to create a list L, list A equal to 3, B equal to 8, 8, C equal to a character vector, D equal to a matrix, E equal to a inner list, which elements true 7.8, M 1 plus 3I as a complex number, F is equal to factor, and finally data frame. We can use F, we have D, data frame. All right. to see the data frame, the list. This is the last part, which is the data frame. F levels M, E, 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 matrix, A, 3, B, 88, C, M, F, M, D, a matrix, and E we have this elements, and finally the matrix. Is L is a list? True. L1 is double? True. L2 is numeric? True. L3 is character? True. L4 is a matrix? True. L5 is a list? True. L6 is a factor? True. L7 is a data frame? True. In the beginning of this chapter, we discussed some attributes of many R objects such as the class, typo, and mode. Here we wish to show that the attributes function of an R object gives us all useful information of that object may have. This information is called the metadata for the object. For example, column names on a data frame help us to see what data are contained in each of the columns. Some examples of our object attributes are names, time names, and dimensions. Let us see in the example. M, M, time M, M, attributes, time. X is a factor, X, on class X is a function which gives us attributes of levels Fm, and finally empty cars, which is the data frame part of our library, and if we call the attributes, we will see that this is names, the column names, mpg, cyl, this HP, horsepower, and etc. Row names: Mazda RX-4, Mazda RX-4 wagon, and so on. And class is data frame. As we see, the attributes empty cars gives us all the names, which is equivalent to the column names, row names, and class of the data frame empty cars. Later we will see even more usefulness of attributes function when we deal with different prediction models and algorithms. I think I leave it there, and thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Bye now.